All right, guys, the Green Bay Packers just decided to make their first re-signing of the 2025 offseason. Sources say Packers are re-signing linebacker Isaiah McDuffie on a 2-year, $8 million deal with upside to $9.5 million. So this is a re-signing that I thought could happen, but I didn't really expect it to be the first re-signing of the Packers offseason. A lot of us weren't happy with the play of Isaiah McDuffie this past season. But at the end of the day, he's played a lot of snaps for this Packers defense over the past 3 seasons, and he played under coach Jeff Hafley at Boston College. So this does make sense. So let's dive down into this deal and what it means for this Packers defense. Go down and click that subscribe button if you happen to be a new viewer here on this channel. Really supports the channel. It's free to do. Also click the like button as well. You'll find everything Green Bay Packers here every single day throughout the entire offseason. All right, so now back into the video. This offseason, or at least to start this offseason, we went over the free agents that the Packers are set to have for 2025, or at least the unrestricted free agents, and which ones I thought the Packers should bring back. I was under the impression that they might have some interest bringing back Isaiah McDuffie. Didn't think it would be this early. I thought maybe he'd test the market, then they'd bring him back. But it seems the Packers really, really like Isaiah McDuffie, which makes sense, obviously, with the connection to Jeff Hafley, how many snaps he played this last season. I thought he was pretty inconsistent on the defense this last season. But also at the same time, he played 64.2% of snaps for your defense. Now, obviously, that's a little bit heightened because we didn't play Edgerrin Cooper as much earlier in the season, where obviously Edgerrin Cooper, Quay Walker are the 2 starting guys if we're in a 4-2 front moving forward. But they still need a third off-ball linebacker in their new 4-3 scheme. Now, the money that they're paying Isaiah McDuffie, it's not a lot, but it's also more money than you would usually pay for a linebacker 4 or a backup. So this kind of tells us that the Packers are inherently thinking Isaiah McDuffie will be their linebacker 3 heading into 2025. And that says a couple things. They still have Eric Wilson as an unrestricted free agent. They could definitely still bring him back. I think they love the special teams value there. I don't think it would cost a lot. Also, Tyron Hopper. We drafted him in the 3rd round last year. I thought maybe since we have Eric Wilson, Isaiah McDuffie hitting free agency, this would be the year you kind of just throw Tyron Hopper into the mix. I know that's not the best thing to do all the time, and just see what happens. Clearly, that's not the case yet. I still think Hopper will get some defensive snaps and will be able to compete for this spot against Isaiah McDuffie. But you also just gave this guy a 2-year, $8 million deal with upside to reach $9.5 million. I'm sure that's a playtime incentive or a tackle incentive. Now, once Edgerrin Cooper started getting a lot of snaps, Isaiah McDuffie started to fill into that traditional strong side linebacker spot, which is not something he really played earlier in the season. But once the Packers knew, hey, we need to get Edgerrin Cooper on the field, that's where they started to put him. So it seems likely, we'll have Edgerrin Cooper weak side, Quay Walker at the mic, Isaiah McDuffie right now at strong side, unless the Packers decide to make an upgrade. I doubt they go out and sign a free agent linebacker. I released a video earlier, a couple weeks ago, going over some options, but now that they brought back McDuffie for $8 million, 2 years, I doubt that happens. I still think they could draft someone maybe late, like a Danny Stutzman out of Oklahoma or Jay Higgins out of Iowa. I think there are a couple options there. But it seems very likely they're comfortable with their first 3, bringing back Isaiah McDuffie, letting Tyron Hopper compete, maybe bringing back Eric Wilson, or drafting another guy to replicate those special team snaps. Isaiah McDuffie also offers great special teams value as well. So I'm kind of in the middle. It's not a lot of money, and with the salary cap rising so much this season, the Packers are right now, or at least before this deal, have $48 million in cap space. Now, this is a 2-year, $8 million deal. The first cap hit of 2025 won't be $4 million. It's not going to be split out like that. It'll probably be closer to $2.5 or $3 million. So it'll relatively be very, very cheap, near vet minimum, to have Isaiah McDuffie on this team in 2025. So that part I'm not mad about. When you look at the contract and linebackers around the league, the average per year, he's actually tied for 39th in terms of linebacker contracts at $4 million, right next to EJ Speed and Jordan Hicks and Jalen Reeves-Maybin, all 30-plus-year-old linebackers in the league making around $4 million. So again, I'm not mad at the amount of money. We say Isaiah McDuffie is still 25 years old, just got done his rookie deal. Didn't grade out well via PFF last season, that's for sure. I thought he was pretty solid against the run. Early downs, you're in your base 4-3, get Isaiah McDuffie out there, strong side backer, defend the run, right? But when he was in a situation where he had to drop back into coverage, I agree with the PFF grade here. I thought it was pretty poor. pretty abysmal, 45.8 overall grade, but he did have 59 solo tackles in 2024, 35 total assists, a forced fumble. He was 44th in solo tackles in terms of linebackers, 17th in assists. He had 26 stops, which was 53rd. He didn't have a single sack on the season. The Packers, never really rushed him. When you have guys like Quay Walker, Adrian Cooper, why would you? He did have 11 missed tackles, which isn't that high at all, considering all the solo tackles. And then in coverage, you see the passer rating allowed, 130.3. But he played nearly 700 snaps, which is 45th best in the league, right almost in line with where his contract is, 39th best. So that part makes sense. So again, I'm not surprised the Packers brought back Isaiah McDuffie. Would I have gone a different route, maybe drafting a guy and then letting Tyron Hopper and that guy fight for the third linebacker spot? I mean, you're not going to be in base a lot. Yeah, early down, sure, when you think that the other team's going to run. Early down, running downs. But your guys are Adrian Cooper and Quay Walker moving forward. But I'm not also mad at the amount, considering the salary cap keeps going up and up and up. And 2 years, $8 million is turning into like the veteran minimum at this point. It's very cheap. The salary cap hit for 2025, like I said, will be like $2.5 to $3 million. We'll see when that deal comes out. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Again, I thought the Packers maybe should have went a different direction just to maybe get better at that spot. But it makes sense with the low amount of money and the connection to Coach Jeff Hafley. But I appreciate you guys coming by to this video. I'll catch you on the next one. And as always, go Pack Go.